let's do a quick review of SOHCAHTOA before we dive into trig functions. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is sine over cosine, which is opposite over adjacent. So now that you have a quick review of SOHCAHTOA, I'm going to explain to you the unit circle and all of the trigonometric functions. What is the unit circle? The unit circle is a circle with the radius of 1. We use the unit circle to find values of trigonometric functions at certain angles. To actually use the unit circle, we take a line and we draw it from the x-axis to the point where the radius meets the circumference of the circle. The intersection with the x-axis and this line is always a right angle. We use theta as a variable for the angle intersection between the radius and the x-axis. So as you can see here, I've highlighted each side of the triangle. The green is the adjacent to theta, the opposite to theta is highlighted in yellow, and the hypotenuse is highlighted in blue. So because the green side is the adjacent and cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse and the hypotenuse is 1, the green side's value is cosine of theta. Similarly, we can determine that the value of the yellow side is sine of theta. Tangent of theta, in this case, is sine over cosine because sine is the opposite to theta and cosine is the adjacent to theta. So that's sine, cosine, and tangent explained using the unit circle. Now I'm going to explain cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Cosecant is 1 over sine theta, secant is 1 over cosine theta, and cotangent is 1 over tan theta. These are also called the reciprocal identities. So cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite, secant is hypotenuse over adjacent, and cotangent is adjacent over opposite. This is a diagram showing all the angles you can memorize the values of cosine and sine for. This is very useful because then you can figure out the other values using the cosine and sine values. Sine is always used in the y area and cosine is always represented in the x. This also shows you the degrees to radians. For example, 30 degrees is equal to pi over 6 radians. Memorizing these can also be very helpful because when you use trig identities or do trig problems, these are also very helpful because they're very common and very easy to use then. Sine of 90 degrees, which is also equal to pi over 2, minus theta is equal to cosine theta. We call these the cofunctions. This is the formulas to achieve each cofunction. This is also very useful when you're solving for trig identities or just any trig problem in general. So this video covered trig functions. If you have any question, drop it down in the comments.